Today is Friday, June 27th, 2025.
So how'd the year go? Like, give me a 1 to 10. How did the year go?
I would say probably like a 6 or 7. So in the role of the DTL, I rated myself a 9 out of 10. Yes, I know. So for me, I felt as the librarian, like as the teacher in the library, I felt I had a super successful year. Like super successful. And here's the reason why. You want reasons, right? What I really loved is that I got to see classes or kiddos on a regular basis. When kids were with me, students were with me, they thoroughly enjoyed themselves. The library, as I've said and will continue to say, is a safe place. It's a safe haven for all patrons. And what's great is kids loved, I could physically see the kids loved being there. They got excited to be there. They were really bummed when like a schedule change messed it up, right? The kindergartners really didn't like when they didn't have time with me. And so I could tell by their words and by their actions, by the hugs, right, that they loved being in that place. The art teacher and I did multiple activities where I read a book or did a small activity that built on whatever concept or technique she was teaching in the art room. And then we displayed the artwork in the hallway between the art room and the library. And I did crafts with the kids, and the crafts would coordinate with whatever the content they were learning in class. I have an innovation lab off the library, so it's basically a maker space. And I have all these knickknacks and crafty stuff, and the kids, we would do a mock, right? We would do whatever our project was, connect it to curriculum, and then they would start creating. And then we had the adults around. It was fun. I love being in the library.
Okay.
I do. I love it. I love being in the library. I love having the responsibility of students being exposed to a variety of literature, of writings. I love seeing a variety of kids throughout my week. I do. I have a really good understanding of what being a DTL is for my current building. And actually, that's very interesting because I talked about climate and culture.
Okay.
And climate and culture had a direct impact on how my year went.
Okay.
Okay. I rated climate and culture very low. I rated it a 4 out of 10, and my husband said that would be pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm surprised you're even giving it stars.
Okay, you got it.
So now I'll explain. One of the reasons that I find the detail position so tough is I'm not quite admin, but I'm no longer a classroom teacher. And I'm seen as that. I also struggle with the climate and culture because I'm asked to cover classes. So I'm not as important as a classroom teacher. And part of being the school librarian, collaboration is so many check marks. It's a lot. There's a lot of collaboration that's tied to my effectiveness. If collaboration is a big part of my rubric, I never get a chance to be with an entire team to collaborate. It always becomes my responsibility on my own time. I'm super bitter about the fact that I don't, and that
Say bitter?
bitter, yeah, because I'm never part of the meetings, the planning meetings, right? I saw it as babysitting the kids. And so instead of seeing it as babysitting the kids, I was like, well, what can we do that would be meaningful for them, but also for myself? And so that I'm not walking away thinking that I hate this job. And one of the other reasons why I rated climate and culture so low is actually student behavior. And so the behavior in kids, we could do another 10 hours of interviews regarding, I don't have the answer, but behaviors are more bold, more defiant than ever before. This year, more than ever, I have felt unsafe and uncomfortable in my space. And a bulk of my year was spent with the library doors closed and locked. And I think a lot of the conflict from the year, the climate and culture, is that I don't even know how to explain it, because if I had the answer, I'd fix it. But that what admin is doing with the social emotional crew is not meeting what the staff thinks needs to happen. Right? And so that has caused constant conflict. So we have staff not agreeing and not getting along. And then the student behavior is what causes it. So I, being in the heart of the building, feel everything. And so the emotion of the building is uncomfortable. It's icky. I've used that word before. I don't have any other grandiose word to replace it with. It feels horrible. And so the climate and culture, really, that was the negative of this last school year. I have a really good understanding of what being a DTL is for my current building. So as a result, my position was cut.
From full-time to half-time?
Correct. So next year, I will be 20 hours a week in one building and 20 hours a week in another building. I had no say. There was no mutual consent in my other building where I'm going. I was not displaced, but I was paired. Now the district is coming out with a new DTL rubric in the fall. So it'll be a whole new realignment, right? I finally got it under my belt for, like, this is what professional responsibilities, this is what professional techniques look like, right? Because my rubric, what I'm assessed on, looks different than a classroom teacher, different than a para, different than an administrator. And so I am super familiar with it, but now it's going to change. So we'll see it in the fall. I'm not quite sure when it's coming. It'll be an all new learning curve for everybody, administrators included, come this fall. So that all brings change, right? But the individuals in charge of library services, they're only in their second year. So we have all of this constant adjustment, constant. And I really like structure, and this is not structured.
Yes, exactly.
Right? None of this is. And we
thrive
talked
in
about
structure.
it, the schedule. That video talked about it, right? That I felt not at my best because everything is upended. So, you want to talk about a true challenge for me as an individual.
Yes.
I have no idea what next year is going to look like.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, my laughter is going to do that again, and I'll try not to.
No,
Okay.
no, that's, yes, if you truly know who I am and you've actually watched my videos, I'm going to be in a personal hell. Because, let me explain this to you. The pairing, as I mentioned earlier, was not consensual. There was no mutual consent. I didn't go and interview. I didn't bust out my portfolio. I didn't razzle dazzle them with a lesson. Basically, the district paired me, my current building, with my new buildings. So one of my buildings is in one articulation area, the other building is in another articulation area, and my child is in a third articulation area. That is a scheduling nightmare. So as of the principals left for last school year, the second week of June, I had absolutely nothing from the new building. I have no calendar. I don't even know what I'm doing on my first few days back.
Wow.
And what I'm trying to do is I am trying to overlay them all, right? So, for example, I'm expected to be at both back to school nights. I'm expected to be at conferences. I'm expected to be at family events. And so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be and when. It has been horrible. So here's what I know. In August, I start back August 6th. So last year was August 5th. I have 2 buildings. And I forgot to mention, both of my buildings, both of my libraries got renovations over the summer. So I have to unpack and organize 2 libraries. One I've only been in once. I'm also supposed to, because as a digital teacher librarian, I'm responsible for all student technology. I have to unpack and get ready to disperse 2 sets of tech. And the kicker, this is the kicker, the one that scares me the most, you'll probably laugh, is that one building is like ThinkPads and the other is Mac.
No. No.
But I don't have one calendar. So I can't start laying out when I have to do what. And did I mention I'm going to be in Alaska till August 1st? So it's
My reaction was, holy.
so my new building has an overly weeded library. There is no budget. The books. Like, and the fact is that I have to hit the ground running for both of them.
I don't see how you're going to do that. Is there precedence on this?
No, again, new rubric and buildings, right? Buildings utilize us differently, as I've said before. It'll be interesting.
Well, thank you very much, Dana.
Thanks for coming to see me again.
And
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you next summer after the 25-26 school year.
adios.
Adios.